Kia ora guys, I'm Mackenzie.
Kia ora, I'm Kia.
And this is StudyTime's Level 3 Biology Human Evolution Strategy video. So in this video we're going to be giving you all the tips you need to help you get through this really big standard. Overall, human evolution focuses on trends. So what this really is just key changes that have happened over time in the different species that have resulted in Homo sapiens as we are today.
And typically the content that you've covered throughout the year boils down to 3 questions that they will ask you. One is usually on biological evolution, one on cultural evolution, and the third one is usually on dispersal theories. So let's get into this content.
As Kia mentioned before, there are 3 key areas to this standard that you're going to have to know. The first of which being biological changes. So biological changes are all the things that we've inherited to come to the point that we are now physically. And when we're discussing these, we want to be firstly identifying the exact change, whether this be skeletal, it could be jaw structure, it could be pelvis shape. Secondly, we want to be discussing what prompted this change. Was it due to a change in the environment? Was it due to a change of a new predator or something like this? Thirdly, we want to be discussing evidence, and this comes from all the species that you'll be studying for this standard and the general trends and changes that we can see. Lastly, and this is kind of the excellence part, we're going to be discussing the adaptive advantage that it provided for the species at the time to continue on and result in who we are today.
There are a few different biological trends that we can talk about, just a few being bipedalism. This one almost always comes up, so make sure you know it. It's the change from being on all fours to standing on 2 feet. Another change we can discuss is the change from a C-shaped spine into an S-shaped spine, which probably came as a result from bipedalism to be able to support our bodies. We can also talk about the change in shapes and sizes of things on our bodies, such as our pelvis and how that changed in shape and size, as well as our feet and toes and fingers.
Cool, so the next big area is cultural evolution, and within this there is like the tool cultures, there's the use of fire, there is the use of agriculture, animal domestication, burial rituals, art, the use of jewellery. There is a lot of things within cultural evolution that is worth discussing. However, one of the biggest areas that you really should be aware of is tools and tool cultures. Now within this you've got a bunch of different cultures, so it might be Acheulean, it might be Upper Paleolithic, Lower Paleolithic. If you can have an idea of the rough dates of each of these eras, they'll always be towards the later end of the biological evolution. Is really helpful in the answers that you're going to be giving, because you can always give more detail. Now it's important to remember that when you are answering these questions, what you're doing is you're linking it towards higher level thinking, which is what cultural evolution is really indicative of. It's also important that with cultural evolution, you bear in mind that it moves much faster than biological evolution, because it can be transferred from generation to generation, and so progressions and changes happen a lot faster.
Dispersal theory is all about how the human species colonized the world. There are 2 main theories that we can discuss here. The first is the multi-regional theory. This is the theory that humans left Africa as Homo erectus and evolved at the same rate across the globe, with gene flow still happening between the different populations. The next theory is the out of Africa theory. This is the theory that only some Homo erectus left Africa and evolved into Neanderthals across the globe. However, those that stayed in Africa evolved into Homo sapiens, which then left Africa around 100,000 years ago to make the Neanderthals extinct. It's important that whichever theory you're discussing, you support with evidence. This could be things like DNA samples or fossils.
As bipedalism is one of the biggest things that you're going to be asked almost every year, it's important to have this one down. And in general, when you're answering questions, you want to be discussing the adaptive advantage and positive feedback. Now what adaptive advantage is, it's identifying how exactly this change allowed us to survive more comfortably and allowed us to reproduce further. So you need to do more than just say, this helped us survive more. We want to say how and why. So if we have our hands free, it means that we can carry our young, it means that we can collect food and take it back to another location. These are really important things, and this is the kind of specific detail you should be adding. Secondly, for positive feedback, it's kind of really a snowball effect. How did one change influence others? So if we're going to use bipedalism again, what it did, it allowed us to have our hands free, which allowed us to carry young and again take food. So when we're discussing this, we want to be talking about it in respect to increased survival and increased reproduction, because what this does is it means that these alleles that have been gained are going to stay in the gene pool. And what this means is increased survival.
There are two more things you need to remember when you're answering the questions. The first is that whenever you introduce a concept, it's important to define what that concept means, even if it doesn't explicitly ask you to. While your marker will probably know what you're talking about, what's important to remember is that you have to write your answers as if someone who knows nothing about biology is reading them. The next thing is to apply your knowledge to the specific facts. This could be things like key dates, or species names, or the names of changes that have happened to these species. Any link that you can make that's big or small to the resource material will strengthen your answers.
Cool, so this has been our Level 3 Human Evolution Biostrategy video. Some last tips from us include making sure that you're discussing everything as a trend and studying it in trends, so whether this be cultural or biological evolution, and also making sure that you're defining everything in your answers as you go along, providing evidence and saying exactly how it led to increased survival.
We've covered a lot in this video, but we still haven't covered everything, so if you want more help, head onto our website and check out our StudyTime walkthrough guides, free online, or if you want it in print, you can get it for next day delivery. Also remember to check out past exams to really practice those answers to a new fact situation.
Cool, and that's it from us, guys.